Alright, welcome back everybody. We'll get right onto it because I'm running out of time already. Jodal seems to agree with your decision. It enters a trot, leading you farther east. A minute passes, but you still hear the constant shouts, as if someone's getting whipped to their very bones. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm still in the swamp area, and I decide to ignore what I assume is the bird actually making calls. Can't get through the creepers, I think this is where I am, right? Pretty sure. So let's head this way. The lakeside is filled with the chirping of cicadas and crickets, as well as the roaring beat of beasts from the northern hills. Farther down the road you see tall, yellow grasses, interwoven with flowers and bumblebees, while the peaceful water shines just as much as the wings of dragonflies. This road is often traveled, and the clatter of hooves carries far. Thanks to the vast field of view, the creatures hiding in the meadows are unlikely to jump on an animal as large as Sodal. In the distance, you see a palisade and a large building set on the side of the crossroad. Once you get closer, you hear a conversation from behind the wall. Two men are arguing about if they really just heard a horse. Huh, maybe they know some useful rumors. Huh, the four crossroads. Sodal carries you toward the open gate on its own, welcoming an opportunity to rest by pushing out at the air loudly through its nostrils. A nearby wooden pen won't offer much space for a horse, but should be enough for grazing and a nap. As you dismount, two men get up from the front stairs. Their clean-shaven faces reveal that they're in their early 20s. The first one is taller than you, broad-shouldered, and wears light brown pants and a darker jacket, both of them made of leather. With an inviting smile, he gets up and moves to open the enclosure. His steps are heavy and slow, but every movement is marked with care, ensuring he won't knock down anything or anyone. The second man looks as different from his colleague as the sun from the moon. He's unusually short and wears a heavy cloak made of black fur, so large it could cover his entire cell. He opens the door of the building, hides his hand, and peeks into the room. Foggy. His voice is shrill and unconcerned. A messenger come. I take off some of my bundles. Let my horse rest. A hanging barrel sways in the wind, marking the place as an inn or a tavern. The building resembles a merchant's house from Hovleben, whitewashed and with oiled, elegant wooden beams. The fragile walls are high enough to avoid floods and snow, but you have no doubt that a troll, or even a peddler, could easily break through them. The palisade is short, has hardly any support, and has no walkway for crossbowmen, hardly enough for even a makeshift hamlet. Yet it's the open harbor that makes you uneasy. Aside from the fish, any creature, aquatic or not, could just walk into the yard, undisturbed. The path is covered with paw prints and claw marks. Huh, better not to leave Sodal outside during the night. A black and white bird swoops into the water, then flaps its wings and takes off with a silver, twitching creature in its talons. The large man clears his throat. And what have we here? Coming from afar, friend? Are there now horses in howlers? His voice is stentorian, close to a shout. You vaguely recognize his accent as one found at the city harbor. Alright, we'll be friendly this time. Quite far, kind soul. Sorrel came with me from Hovleben. He nods appreciatively. A weird beast, eh? A donkey that can kill a man. You notice he keeps quite a distance from it, and holds his hand close to his throwing club. Haven't seen one in a while. The roads here aren't that bad. They'll take you north and east with ease. You hear heavy footsteps. A woman shows up in the doorway and looks at you from the top of the stairs. She's even more towering and stout than her son, the man who just welcomed you, with a massive chest and a pear-shaped face with a prominent chin. Her movements are composed and confident. She may be older than 50, with a mixture of gray and dark blonde hair. She has only one arm, the left one, notably muscular, and with a hand so large it could likely chop off Sodal's head with a single strike, or crush yours like a berry. Through the slit of her robe, made of creamy worn fur, you spot her trunk-like legs. She runs her eyes over your blade, armor, and mount. Her lips form into something of a smile, distorted by the scar that runs through her mouth. The tall guy looks a lot like her. The tall man spreads his arms, forming a chain between you and his mother. Meet Foggy, friend. Ma, the rider has come to us from Hovleven. Just look at this horse. His voice, his powerful voice, turns timid, and he keeps turning his head from left to right and back. Too bad we have no hay. It looks hungry. Don't I look hungry? The woman looks at him with amusement, then glances at your palfrey. Aye, a cute monster you've brought, but not enough fat on it. If it ever breaks a leg, bring it here. We'll smoke it for winter. She vaguely stretches out her only hand. What brings you to Foggy Lake, love? Just stopping by? Her voice is hoarse, just like that of a traveler who spent too many autumn nights in cold tents, yet carries a hint of motherly concern. I close the animal pen behind me and head towards the stairs. You won't find another seltzer in this part of the Dragonwoods, especially not in creeks. She scratches her broad chin with sausage-like fingers. You drink? I'll say sir. It's in good company. I'm gonna get killed, aren't I? They're too friendly. Both of them suggest I'll drink. It's probably not a good idea to drink. Might as well. I smile, in good company. That's what I like to hear. Her brief, powerful laughter is enough to scare away the birds from above the lake. Your mount lets out a fearful snort. Let's not wait then. Come, dear, share a story with me and a mug. Without waiting for your response, she walked inside. The tall man takes a deep breath. Go ahead. We'll take care of your horse. He encourages you with a gesture. And by that he means we won't do anything with it, adds the man in black fur. Whenever his screechy words follow the deep voices of his companions, he sounds like a brat. We won't be feeding or washing beasts that aren't going in a stew, but we'll keep an eye on it. They find new spots to rest, the side of a boat, and a stool near the palisade. I asked them if they plan to join us. The large man chuckles. We don't have any guards. We need to stay sharp. No drinking, no leaving valued possessions behind. He nods toward your horse. We'll feast in winter when we get a break from this place. Okay. I nod and go up the stairs. The narrow, segmented window shutters let in a lot of light without letting the beast inside. The air is humid, but carries not a hint of putridity. The heels of Foggy's boots make your steps thunder even though the planks don't creak. Make yourself at home, she says without looking at you, heading to the trap door in the corner. I'll just grab a little something. Your ears catch the screeches of hunting birds and the wind that leaks in through the windows, but other than that, the room is quiet. I investigate the main hall, I guess. Yeah, I don't think they'll mind if I look around. I might find a body, and I might have to get out of here very quickly, so I've got into the basement first. The room is crammed with stuff. The bear pelt on the ground would be a nice resting place, but the place doesn't look like a real home. No chests, no cabinets for clothes, no toys or tools for simple crafts that would fill the time during rainy evenings. Living with so many windows in winter would be a struggle. One could clear this place in one morning and move all that's worth saving onto a single wagon. The only things of exceptional value are the cauldron, made of pricey steel, and the hanging head of an insect-like monster. Oh, there it is. Let's see. Its mandibles don't move. The dim eyes seem intact, and its armored head tells a long story of survival through scratches and cuts. Check the basement. I don't want to die here. The meager light hinders your view. There are dozens of barrels, sacks, stone tools, bowls, and pieces of roasted fish or bird meat. Foggy notices you, but doesn't say anything. She looks for something among a bunch of bottles. There's a couple more animal trophies placed on the top of the barrels and leaning against the walls. Fangs, claws, monster heads, and a lizard skin. Quite a collection. I look where the ladder leads. Let's see, yeah, there's this rope ladder. You climb up the simple rope ladder and reach the attic. It smells like a haystack. Hey, they said there were no hay. The floor is covered with animal furs, bags, and clothes. There's a soul sitting in a corner, a bearded man in his 20s, who has only the right hand, though, unlike the tavern keeper, he has kept the rest of his arm. His sleepy eyes observe you without a word. After he greets you with a nod, he starts to put on his boots. Okay, I guess let's go sit down then. There's some guy up here. I sit down at the table and wait for the keeper's return. You take a glance at the blood on the table, the scattered yellow feathers, and a bowl of guts and talons. You find yourself a clean stool. Foggy shows up soon, smiling, holding 2 cups in her hand, a bottle in her fingers, and a cloth under her shoulder. She puts everything on a stool and wipes the tablecloth. Forgive the mess, just a part of the job, she explains without a hint of apology. I'd rather dress birds in the yard, but the blood lures beasts. Sometimes the folks from creeks bring us meals, but we need to take care of ourselves. She throws the bloody cloth back into the bucket, making a splash, then sits down on a stool, making it look like it was made for a doll. She rests her elbow on the table and looks you in the eyes. Her voice is warm, yet intrusive. So who am I dealing with? I introduce myself. The bottle removes its seal, seemingly by itself. The wax floats in the air briefly, then lands on the table gently. Without a word, she pours a thick liquid into the cups with her only hand, but doesn't offer you your drink just yet. Alright, let's go in order then. I'm trying to learn more about the peninsula. A tavern seems like a fair shot. She sighs and grabs her cup. It looks like she could crush it with just 2 fingers. I don't see what's in it for me, dear. I'm sure you'll find those who crave a pair of ears to fill you with gibberish, but I run this place to get more from it than I put into it. She places the second cup in front of you. It's made of dim brown wood, humble, wide, and short. Its surface is cold, rough, but elegant. In Hovlaven, such vessels are often ornamented with metalwork, from bronze to gold, and bear all sorts of carvings and pictures. Huh. Keeping me around is an investment. I'm about to die. Feed me. She sighs, though with a smirk. You've got me there. Sharing news is not a high price for an old hag, if in return she gets a rider. The folks of Gale Rocks trade more than anyone else, and the ones from Creeks see a lot during their hunts. I know this, and that, about some places. Her sudden grin makes you flinch. Why, go ahead, enjoy your drink. You raise the cup to your nose. You smell flowers, yeast, and hops. The liquid is golden on the edges, but resembles red amber in the center. It's as thick as an herbal medicament. You take a look at your companion, seeking a hint of what's expected of you. In some places, people gulp down their mead, but your vessel allows you to appreciate the aroma. The huge keeper smiles and takes a sip. You follow her lead, allowing the drink to pass your lips. It's warm, hiding none of its subtleties. Drinking mead is a never-ending conflict between holding the taste in your mouth and saving yourself from the tormenting sweetness of honey. Yet the flavors of flowers are just as present, too difficult to capture just yet. Foggy leans forward with an elbow resting on the table. Well, for me, it's a lazy day. At least the rains spare us. So nicely holding off till the evenings. Huh. Okay, let's go with the what's the story of this place? It can't be more than a few years old. It's our third summer under the roof of Foggy Lake, but the palisade is older. Used to be a camping spot for the bird catchers from creeks, and there are fish here that don't swim in our streams. When we were but newcomers in the north, these lands were handy to bend, but the beasts got used to us with time. A melancholy crawls into her eyes. She observes the mead in her cup. Every year or so, we added something new. The rocks for a campfire, some stools, a fence, a firewood shed, a boat. At one point, we brought the lumber from White Marshes and built a cabin, like the one at the Eastern Road. More folks started resting here, even traders from Gale Rocks and Old Pecos. A plenty fine spot for an inn, eh? Her smile is warm. I'm building my home from nothing, you could say, and not for the first time. How about you? Does any of it sound tempting? What do you mean by that? That's the dream. A place far away from Hovlaven. However, somewhere where I can rest for after a day of work without an aching back. Let me see. What should I go for? Do I have dragon bones? I keep saying I'm able to offer dragon bones. Let's see. This is magical amulet. I still have that. I'm also almost dead. I think dragon bones is the money. I don't have dragon bones then. Better not bring up money then. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's what he's talking about. How I'm poor right now. Maybe I should bring that. I was dreaming of a place far away from Halloween somewhere I can rest my head. Maybe they might give me free room and board if I don't bring up that I'm poor. No, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, that's something I can ask myself after I've saved some dragon bones. Let's see what happens. I used to be like that, waiting with decisions until I had no other option. But when nights are colder, it's good to think you're getting closer to your goal, to something you can name. Her eyes turn absent. Huh. Alright, how do you stay safe from the beasts? You're completely open from the lake. Quick legs, love. Her brief yet thunderous laughter makes you flinch. We don't leave any food outside, but our cauldron smells. Every now and then something scary shows up. We lock ourselves in here, for days if we have to. Our windows help us keep an eye on the yard. Better that than leaving the hamlet to goblins. You mentioned that having no wall from the lake side is quite a risk. She nods in agreement and takes another sip. We don't bring children and old folks around, but this part of the peninsula is not so bad, at least in sunlight. Not much food growing or running around, unless you can live on fish and birds. And the folks of creeks are great hunters, the greatest around. But isn't there a harbor in the city as well? How do you keep the creatures away? Huh. Okay, I believe that's just about the time I have for now. So I'll go ahead and end it here. See you all next time. Bye.